In boxing, there's an old expression. It's called a get-up fighter. Guy gets knocked down, but he picks himself back up. Champ, Tyson Fury, you're a get-up fighter. Last time we saw you in the ring, you were staring up at the ring lights. Deontay Wilder, just a sensational puncher, caught you in a fight in which you were way up on the cards, it seemed to me, and you're staring up at the ring lights. Then what happened?
To be brutally honest, I don't really remember getting hit with a punch and getting knocked to the floor. I also remember was waking up and hearing the count of 4. So I thought to myself, right, I must have been knocked down. Get up and fight. So I got back up onto my feet and I had to show the referee I was in a position to continue. He came to me before the fight and said, if you ever knock down on the floor, he said, I'll ask you to get up, move to the left, move to the right. And if I see you're in a fit state to continue, I will call the fight on. And that's what I did. I proved the referee was in a position to continue, and the fight continued.
So you said you didn't hear anything until 4. So you were out until 4, unconscious, and then wake up essentially at the count of 4. What is
out
that
cold,
thing?
Out like a light switch.
What is that? And anyone Deontay Wilder catches on the chin is gotta go. What is that thing in you? We saw it against SS Cunningham in on the road to a title shot against Klitschko, where again you look not just knocked down, but like it might be over, and you got up. And against Tyson Fury, you got up. And against Cunningham, you won. And against Deontay Wilder, you seem to me to win. What is that thing in you that gets up?
It's called the heart of a lion and a will of steel. And like I say to everybody in the heavyweight division, it's pretty much easy to beat Tyson Fury. And how you do that is nail him to the canvas with 6-inch nails. And providing you don't do that, I'm going to get up and win. Because that's what I do. I'm a trier. I get up and if there's any breath left in my body, I'll continue to fight for the 12.
Tyson, you came to Top Rank and ESPN. Why did you choose Top Rank and ESPN? Because promoters are aligned with networks at the moment. So when you make a choice, Matchroom or PBC, you have an idea of where you're going to be. Why did you choose Top Rank and ESPN?
I wanted to join the biggest amount of viewing figures in the world. And I believe ESPN have the biggest platform. I wanted to become a star in America. I wanted to be broadcast to the most viewers. And, you know, I think it's the best idea.
There's an interview guru at ESPN named John Sawatsky, and he has a saying, between expectation and result, that's the story, right? You have an expectation, then you get a result, and between those two things where they diverge, that's your story. You beat the 10-year reigning heavyweight champion of the world, Vladimir Klitschko. You hear the ring announcer say, and the new. What happened next?
It was a lifelong dream accomplished. Going to Germany in 2015 and beating the reigning super champion in his own back garden was very sweet. And I achieved all my dreams on that night. Everything I'd ever trained for and worked for from being a little boy, all came true on the night. For about 10 minutes there, it was the best feeling ever. But I quickly declined into a heavy depression for the next 2 years after the fight.
Why do you think, having accomplished your dream and become really the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, but a massive underdog coming through to do it, why do you think that the high only lasted 10 minutes before the descent?
I think it was my Everest. I think I set me goals on Klitschko from the beginning. Because when I was an amateur boxer, Klitschko was still world champion then. And I always said to everybody who'd listen, given the opportunity, I can beat Vladimir Klitschko. Nobody really believed it. So when it came true on the night, it was like that was it then. There was nothing more to prove. I didn't have any more ambition after that. And I thought to myself, is this it? Is this what it's all about? I went back to the room that night and I could feel myself slipping. Even the next morning, I said, I'll probably not even fight again after this. And everyone was like, why? And I just didn't realise, I just didn't know what was going on at the time. And I was suffering heavily with mental health problems going into the fight as well. And I think I needed that break. I needed that 2 years off. I've been boxing from being a young lad. I never had any real breaks from the ring. And I think I needed the time away from the ring to give myself that refreshed desire. And in the 2.5 year out, ballooned up to £400, and wasn't a good time for me, to be fair, but I did get rest and I did save mileage on the clock, and I came back to the sport rejuvenated and refreshed.
Tyson, that's, you know, to go from winning the title to being not only suffering depression, but drug abuse, obesity. It lasted such a long time that people like me thought, okay, I guess we've seen the last of Tyson Fury. Even if he's ever back in the ring, he'll never be what he was. Who comes back from that sort of thing at the top level of professional sports, particularly in a heavyweight division, which is suddenly full of really good and colorful fighters? What does it mean to you that you've been able to come back?
I think it was the biggest comeback of my life. The biggest part of it all was the journey back, the road back, proving everybody wrong, because there were so many naysayers that said he can never come back and compete at high level. He's lost all that weight, he lost 140 pounds. He'll never continue to be at a high level, and I just didn't believe it. You know, I was in the gym and I still had the moves, I still had the timing. Everything was still there, but it was just going to be a slow process to get it back, and it was a mission that I was on to sort of prove everybody wrong, because like they all wrote me off when I was fighting Klitschko, and so many times before that, they all wrote me off a second time and a third time and a fourth time on coming back. How many times can a man have to prove himself before he gets the credit for what he does? And that's what it is, you know. I came back, I had 2 pick-on fights, 2 bomb fights basically. One was just to get me back in the ring and one was to give me some rounds, and then I decided I want to fight Deontay Wilder because I wasn't going to be in boxing to do anything else and be the best. And that's what my ambition was, and my team around me made it happen. And I proved myself once again on the highest level.
Yeah, I certainly was among the doubters. I did not think you'd beat Klitschko. I did not think you'd be able to come back from what you've come back from. But I think at a certain point, people like me start to give you the benefit of the doubt. We've seen you get up off the deck and do those sorts of things enough times. You mentioned that you like to serve as an inspiration. Along those lines, there's been reports that you donated your entire purse to a charity from the Wilder fight. Is that true?
Well, that's something I'm not going to go into because I'm not a do-gooder. And I don't want no pats on the back. I'm not looking for anyone to print any media or nothing. So it's quite a personal story, which I'm not going to go into, because it seems that a lot of people do good stuff to be reported about and printed in papers and stuff. And I'm not one of those people. So it's not something I want to talk about, to be fair.
Champ, I respect that. The reason I bring it up is because serving as an inspiration, well, that's one of the ways that, as by example, that you're making sacrifices, even if financial, and that's hard-fought money, obviously, literally blood money to do it, and that further serves as an example.
Absolutely.
That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, thank you very much for bringing it up.
Yep, but I respect the fact you don't want to talk about it. When a lineal champion is off for some time, or there's a sense that he's not, it's happened with George Foreman, it's happened with others, sometimes a consensus can form around another fighter. In your absence, that seemed to happen around Anthony Joshua, your countryman, who not only beat Klitschko, but knocked him out in a thrilling back-and-forth fight. Then he beat Joseph Parker, and before you and Wilder fought, there was a consensus forming around him. Do you feel that a consensus was fairly formed around Anthony Joshua in your absence?
No, I don't believe it was. I was always a lineal champion, and any chance I was coming back, I was going to return to my lineal status. Let's face true facts. And I always tell the truth, and the truth of the matter is this. He was gifted the belts by me on my personal problems, which is not his fault or his management team's fault. I had my own issues going on, and everybody knows about them. So he didn't actually win any belts. He was given them. And he beat an older Klitschko who had all the time out the ring and was humiliated by me, don't forget, in his own backyard. And he almost lost that too. And that's it. He fights Parker and Povetkin. No disrespect to those guys. They're both good fighters, but they're not on the level, really, as it's been proved time and time again. And that's it really. And he was gaining great momentum, but the biggest factor and the biggest letdown of his full career was not taking the Wilder fight when he was given the opportunity to, for a hell of a lot of money, and it would have cemented his place at the top. But it took me to come back 10 stone overweight and out of condition to say, you know what, I'm not having somebody come over and call us all names and carry on with himself without me stepping up and defending my country. So that's what I did. I said to Wilder, look, give me the opportunity and I'll fight. I said, I'm not Joshua. I said, I won't run my backside in the bushes. I said, I'll take the fight. The fight was offered and it was done very sharp. And as we saw, I went to California and did what I do best.
Champ, I want you to, Anthony Joshua was on my other show, First Take, several weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and I want you to take a listen to what he said to me.
When I was joining the heavyweight ranks, no one told me about lineal champion. I knew about WBC, IBO, IBF, WBA, and WBO, and I got my hands on 4 of them. So I don't know where this lineal just popped out of the woodworks from. But if I got to get my hands on that too, and that's a belt that the world's interested in, Fury can step in if he's serious. That's where I'm coming from. I want to fight the champions.
Well, it just shows you how he doesn't really understand the game and he doesn't study it, because he said the lineal championships just come out or whatever. And I think every boxing historian knows it goes back to the days of John L. Sullivan. So that's not recent times. It's not an invented belt. It's not been plucked out of the air. And for his knowledge, it's not even a belt. It's a recognition that goes back hundreds of years. But the thing with him is this. 1 minute when I'm out of shape and I've got 140 pounds to lose, he tells me to get fit, you fat this and that, and I'll beat you up. And all of a sudden, when I'm fit and when I'm doing well, he's not interested in the fight anymore. So how can we take a guy like this serious? The guy who didn't want to fight the WBC champion for whatever reason, and then he doesn't want to fight Tyson Fury because he's not interested in the fight. And I even saw him on your show when you asked him the question. Tyson Fury said, yeah, I'm not interested in that guy. And you said, really? So, you know, I can't live anybody else's career for them. You know, I'm not here to talk about Joshua or Wilder. I'm here to talk about the lineal heavyweight champion being me, Tyson Fury. As I've proved time and time again, I will fight anybody on the planet, barring nobody. I have done in the past and I will continue to do so. It's not up to me to make the fights, it's up to the promoters and the matchmakers and everybody else. But offered the fights, I do agree, as we've seen in the past. It ain't about nothing else but about being the best to me. And that's it. I'm not one of those people who want to pick and choose opponents. Anybody goes, I'm not interested. Line them up and I'll knock them down.
Tyson, you're named for Mike Tyson. You were clearly influenced in terms of your style and presentation. At least there's similarities to Muhammad Ali, your personality outside the ring, or you have a big personality like Ali, and you box even though you're a big guy. You box and move. And I think about Mike Tyson when he went away. He was imprisoned. When he came back, there were other colorful fighters around the division, in the division, Holyfield and this one and that one, and now those were considered big fights. Muhammad Ali leaves as the undefeated heavyweight champion of the world. But then Joe Frazier, in his absence, when he was forced into exile, Frazier became the undefeated heavyweight champion of the world, and that made for a mega fight. It appears to me there's some similarities here. You're the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. You go away. In your absence, another undefeated fighter gains some recognition and some consensus, even if you dispute it. And now you have 2 undefeated champions in the same division. Your thoughts about you and Anthony Joshua along those lines?
We have 3 undefeated world champions in the division. We have Wilder as well. Don't forget Mr. Deontay Wilder. He's a great fighter too.
I certainly don't mean to overlook Deontay Wilder. I was going to get to him. He is also undefeated. He has a belt, knocked out King Kong Ortiz, and knocked you down in the 12th round to salvage a draw in a fight he appeared to be losing. Are you interested in a Deontay Wilder rematch in the near future?
100%. I want to fight Wilder, Joshua, and everybody else out there. I won't run away from anybody. Everybody deserves a shot at the glory, and I'm here to give it you. I will hand you the shot like that. Come to me and we will fight. Now this deal I've just done with Top Rank and ESPN, it sets up massive opportunities for me, because not only now am I travelling around the world as an opponent, I have my own platform and they have to come to me now. So things will change. Before it was all about Tyson Fury getting on the road to Germany, Tyson Fury getting on the road to California to be an opponent for Wilder, a rematch to be an opponent for Wilder, an opponent for Joshua. Might I say, I'm an opponent for nobody. I'm a lineal heavyweight champion. I don't go down opponents' routes. I will fight anybody on any notice. That's who I am. That's what I stand for. But from now on, it's Tyson Fury versus whoever, not the opposite way around. And thanks to ESPN and Top Rank for giving me this opportunity. I'm just overwhelmed by it all, very excited about the near future, and I hope that they can make and deliver. As you said, expectation and deliverance are very far apart. My expectations of Top Rank and ESPN are very high. I hope they can deliver the biggest fights possible. That's why I signed with the guys. But all the proof will be in the pudding. I can only do my job, that's training and fighting, and the rest of the guys have to do their job and deliver the biggest, best fights on the planet for the fans. And that's what I'm interested in.